Sushila Min tries hard not to think about the others. She has to make it down to the surface, alive. That's the most important thing right now, she reasons, and distracting thoughts will only get her killed. With this in mind, she concentrates on what can get her to safety, what she can do, what she knows. Her beak opens slightly, unconsciously with the mental effort. The only thing she knows for sure is that the landing shuttle is gone, and Lul and Anton died right in front of her. Blown apart by the Gixin Jael's ship, her head juts forward and back with anxiety. Davis should have been more thorough with his scans. Zeet shouldn't have rushed into orbit. Regret and doubt cloud her mind. She herself should never have taken up with a human captain and a mixed crew of alien outcasts. Focus, Min. Focus, she tells herself. You're a wild-ridden nomad and a priestess of the peak of purity. You're a survivor, and to spread the truth of the Vestal Mount, you must live. She becomes calmer and tries to think of the positives of her situation. The explosive death of her two crewmates in their sky sleds actually provided her with a few moments of cover from her attacker's sensors. Precious moments she used to regain her composure and escape a similar fate. Her big orange eyes glisten with emotion at the loss of her friends. She breathes ritualistically on the back of her hand, then gives thanks to the great YL for giving Lul and Anton a quick death. She gives more gratitude for the blessing of time and rebukes the cursed Mrin for the temptation to despair. After another ritual breath on the back of her other hand to close the prayer, Min banks her sky sled hard toward the huge blue, green, and white planet and ejects another load of deceptive chaff to confuse her attacker's sensors. Grateful Zeet had agreed to buy the military-grade escape pods for this mission. The entire landing party would all be dead if it wasn't for their sky sled's enhanced piloting controls and limited but effective defensive systems. Behind her, in its higher orbit, the Outrider, leaking gases and fluids of all kinds, comes back to life to return fire at the enormous Zillith ship. Looks like Zeet and Davis were able to get the Outrider's backup power systems going. The opening EMP blast from their attacker took out their shields and most everything else. But they weren't completely screwed, and the Outrider, now using auxiliary shields and arms, once again draws their attacker's undivided attention. Yet another blessing from the glorious YL. Sudden brief speaker static is followed by Zeet's command-stimulated voice shouting in her ear. Listen up! Keep your comms on passive and don't respond to this message. This is a broad-spectrum cast so that none of you can be pinpointed like we did our target down there, Zeet explains. I count 6 of you left. We'll mourn the others when we have the time, but right now, you need to make it down to the surface and show that glassy Gixin fuck what happens when you kill a member of the Outrider's crew. We'll pick you back up when we finish taking care of this bullshit here. Zeet out. The sting of tears forming in Min's big orange eyes blurs her vision for an instant, while the enormous planet below takes up her entire field of view. Aye, aye, Captain, she whispers to herself. She blows on the back of her hand and sends a deeply grateful thank you to the illustrious YL for choosing her to show the truth of the Vestal Mount to such a worthy crew of misfits. She condemns the vile Mrin for the burden of her earlier doubt, then breathes on the back of her other hand to close the prayer. Back at the controls, Min wipes her eyes with a forefinger and a thumb and attends to the sky sled's navigation as she feels the first rumblings of atmospheric entry. Time to avenge her friends. The sky sleds all come in hard, streaking hot through the upper atmosphere. Sonic booms thunder in their wake. No need for stealth now. The Sulaku Droon must know they're coming with the way its ship continues to pound unmercifully on the Outrider. Speed is their only remaining option. Get to the thing and kill it before it has too much time to prepare for their arrival. Hopefully, they'll catch it off guard. Although, based on what they managed to dig up about the Gixin Jael in question, that hope is not very likely. 5 sky sleds splash down in the little Everglades surrounded by irregular towering Magotes. Without waiting for them to drift to a stop, the surviving members of the Outrider's landing party pop their cockpit hatches. The 6th sled suffered some damage to its navigational controls and missed the enclosed part of the river delta completely, landing a short distance away. Operating under radio silence now that the mission is hot, and hearing no evidence of an explosive landing, the 5 Cruden at the target coordinates have to assume that the 6th is still alive and will make his way around to join them when he can. In the meanwhile, those that landed in the small, enclosed Everglade climb out of their sky sleds and prepare for their assault. Towel, the fully transmuted cyborg, emerges first. None of the crew knows exactly what race he originally belonged to, and Towel himself doesn't recall. The operation to change a living being into a mostly mechanical entity often leaves its subject with a torn mind, but memory loss is considered the most acceptable side effect of a complete cybernetic transmutation. Towel's entire 2.5-meter tall outer body is made up of a series of overlapping jet black titanium alloy plates, hydraulic pistons, tubes, and gears. He sports a few military-grade sensory implants for sight, sound, and smell, miscellaneous leg and arm enhancements, and 2 body compartments that hold the generator for the laser cannon on his right arm and extra rounds for the .50 caliber machine gun on his left hip. Once their hunt begins, Towel will take point. Jaelintho, the huge blue-skinned Hethwu, is next to jump off his sky sled down into the waist-high marsh. Outfitted with Wagoshin's standard high-impact polycarbonate anti-projectile military body armor, modified with ablative trunk plating, the hulking amphibian armed himself for this mission with a Lyrec 24 laser assault rifle and 2 heavy projectile sidearms. His smooth, flat features are obscured by his lowered, shatter-resistant visor, but the rest of the crew can tell he's excited by the large puffs of mist pumping from the top of his head through the helmet's crown vents. The tall, thin Lenishe Heum follows next. Aside from a utility belt, a holstered weapon, and the shield band on her arm that the rest of the crew is also equipped with, she is naked, as is usual for her kind. Whether or not she'll use the energy shield is the only question. Heum is of the warrior caste, she argued on the Outlier, and speed is her best defense. Her speed, a plasma pistol in one hand, and her slick blades in the other 3. But Zeet won the argument in the end, made her promise to wear the energy shield as a condition of getting paid for the job. The 4th Cruden, swimming up to the others in his inherited military-grade dark green skin armor, is the human Bassendrad Weathersfield. For luck, he's got his grandfather's red-eye laser rifle strapped to his back. Strapped to his front, for extra stopping power, he carries an easy-feed, shock-proof hard case, containing a number of ion, plasma, and frag grenades, and strapped to his left thigh hangs his trusty Nextech matter disruptor. It's the first thing he ever used to kill another being, and since then, he's taken it on every mission he's ever had. Lastly, there's Su Shila Min, the Wildrinin nomad. Evolved from a particularly hardy avian species, the scattered nomads trace their lineage back to Pfol, a sadly doomed planet consumed by its star ages ago. The nomads are now one of the more common people to be seen around the polygamist's bond. As with the development of many other species, Wildrinin nomads lost much of their plumage during their long evolution. And in addition to losing their ability to fly, they now only have large feathers sprouting from their heads, chest, and back. Smaller feathers cover their cloaca, the backs of their arms, and the lower parts of their reverse-articulated legs. Like most Wildrinin nomads, Sushila's skin is a muddy, blotchy red that bunches up in thick folds around her joints. Being close to the same height as the Hethwu, she dons polycarbonate armor similar to Jaelintho's, is armed with 2 Nextech laser pistols on her hip belt, and holds a small rectangular device in her hands. Related in design to a portable biometric scanner, it is what their clients said would be the key to their victory. Min moves the device through the air slowly, reading the screen on its face. Her head jerks forward slightly with each step she takes to push through the watery terrain. Her helmet's visor is up, and her short beak hangs partly open as she concentrates. "Down there," she says, standing at the edge of the giant hole in the lagoon. "I got a positive read down in this cave."
"Grab on,"
Towel commands his crewmates as he turns away from the mouth of the cave.
"I'm sure Anir will join us when he can."
The cyborg finishes, voicing a positive thought to fight off any doubt the others might have about their missing friend. The mercenaries all activate their combat lenses to lessen the effect of the searing brightness of Gillith eyes on their vision. Then, all of them except Towel inject combat stimulants to stabilize their senses, and they move up to the cyborg as he recalibrates his own internal mechanisms to better withstand the coming encounter. Each finds a secure hold on his exterior, all except Haim. After a lingering gaze over the towering Magotes to the trail of smoke left by Anir's sled, she leans forward into the marshy waters and, at the lip of the hole, slips over the edge. One of the things the Lenishay kept from their ancestry is an uncanny ability to climb. Basendrod grunts with a bit of envy at seeing Haim display her racial prowess. Towel raises both arms and fires his hands at the trunk of a fallen tree several meters away. Each hand sinks into the wood with a loud thunk. The ultra-thin, ultra-strength cables connecting his hands to his arms go taut, as pulleys inside each of Towel's arms bring in the slack. The other three mercs brace themselves. Towel tests his grip, and once satisfied, he swivels his head 180 degrees, bends his knees, and launches himself, Basendrod, Min, and Jaelintho out over the edge and down into the cave.